Title: Tables Turned. I never believed in fairy tales, but there was a time when I thought my life was close to one. 10 years ago, I married Sean, the man who made my heart flutter and my dreams shimmer. He was everything I had ever wanted: charming, ambitious, and deeply loving. Stacy, my best friend since childhood, stood by my side as I exchanged vows with him, her bright eyes shimmering with happiness. Together, we were an inseparable trio: Sean, Stacy, and me. Little did I know, those very bonds would soon fray and unravel, unveiling dark secrets that would shatter my world. It all began subtly. The small texts I'd occasionally catch him sending late at night. The dismissive comments about my attempts to plan our weekends around his work schedule. The way he started coming home later and later. I brushed off my instincts, attributing my unease to mere overthinking. Sean was a good man. I held onto that belief stubbornly. Even Stacy reassured me, rolling her eyes at my suspicions. He's just busy, unique. Don't let your imagination run wild. But when weeks turned into months, something shifted. I could sense Sean pulling away. He was not quite himself. The laughter that once filled our home was overshadowed by silence, his affectionate kisses replaced by distracted pecks on my cheek. It was during one of those increasingly rare, intimate moments that everything shattered. One evening, while sorting through old boxes in the attic, I stumbled upon a card. The delicate pink envelope was unfamiliar, its edges slightly frayed. Curiosity gnawed at me, and without thinking twice, I opened it. Inside was a handwritten note, a love letter. I could hardly see the words through my blurring vision, as I recognized the flowing script. It was Stacy's handwriting. The world tilted on its axis. I felt like a character in a tragic play, one I hadn't auditioned for. The crumpling of the delicate paper echoed my heart's dissent, now a cacophony of betrayal. "You are my everything," the letter said. "I never thought it would come to this, but knowing you're with him makes it impossible to resist." I stumbled back, my breath hitching. As the realization crashed over me, I felt the urge to scream, but the sound died in my throat. How could this have happened? My best friend and my husband. The damage stretched far beyond heartbreak. It was an infliction that clawed at my very being. You think you know people. You believe you can trust your loved ones. Those thoughts tangled in my mind like an overcooked ball of yarn. I confronted Sean that night, my heart racing with a cocktail of fury and grief. He broke down, confessing the truth beneath layers of lies and deceit. His affair with Stacy had started months before. "I didn't know how to tell you. Unique," he sobbed, the false innocence dripping from his voice. "I thought it'd be easier to keep it secret, easier." I laughed, bitter and incredulous. "You thought lying would be easier. You think there's any ease in chewing on this betrayal for the rest of my life." In the months that followed, I felt like a ghost, drifting through my own life. Words of comfort became empty. Sympathy tasted like ash in my mouth. Friends turned away, unsure of what to say. Those who had claimed to know me best now felt like strangers. Sean and Stacy moved on, the betrayal of my heart morphing into the stark reality of my loneliness. But a fire ignited within me. Not the kind of fire that burns in vengeance, but one that promised redemption. I was done being the victim in their puppet show of twisted romance. Instead, I embraced the silence of my grief, nurturing a plan as intricate as a spider's web, painstakingly designing each strand. Months passed as I rebuilt myself. I poured my pain into my art, my hands transforming sorrow into vivid canvases, was the one thing no one could take from me. I sought therapy, and found solace in a supportive community of artists who lifted me from the abyss. While Sean and Stacy flaunted their love publicly, I rebuilt my life quietly, crafting an image of happiness that was fiercely mine. When the opportunity finally arose, I wasn't ready to strike but couldn't resist the pull. I reached out to Stacy, inviting her for coffee, feigning friendship as I tried to mask my intentions. She arrived, her eyes filled with the same flicker of remorse that once haunted my face. "We need to talk," she said, avoiding eye contact. "Yeah, we do," I replied, forcing a smile that felt more like a mask. "But first, how about we reminisce? Remember that time we spied on the old man next door, convinced he was hiding treasure?" Her forced laughter felt like daggers. We traded banter for the sake of illusion, carefully navigating the emotional minefield we created together. Little did she know, I was gathering the pieces of her vulnerability like a hunter. I directed the conversation toward her relationship with Sean, probing with just the right amount of sincerity. It was like pulling the threads of a tightly knit sweater, watching her unravel effortlessly. Weeks later, I took my plan to the next level. I fashioned a series of anonymous posts on social media anonymity, being an artist's favorite companion. I shared staggering truths about infidelity, the consequences of betrayal, and the toxic effects of gossip. It spread like wildfire. Friends I didn't know I had rallied behind me, sharing, commenting, whispering about the heartbreak of betrayal. When the public shaming began, it didn't take long for Sean and Stacy to be at the center of it. As the walls of their illusion started to crack, the weight of regret settled like fog, shrouding them in confusion. I watched their once certain future cast in doubt, skimming the surface of my own satisfaction like a pebbled beach on a calm day. As they became pariahs in a community they once defined, I felt surprisingly at peace. I had no intent of watching them suffer. I merely wanted transparency, the truth, out in the open. When they came to me, their faces pale and their voices pleading, it was surreal. "I didn't expect this," Sean admitted, his arrogance stripped bare. "I was wrong. We were wrong. Were you?" I said, my voice steady. "You had your chance to be honest. You chose betrayal instead. The truth has a funny way of being revealed, Sean. But at least now, you get to feel a fraction of what I felt." They crumbled that evening. I watched them transform before my eyes. Their power shifted from two back to one lonely figure, me. I was no longer the victim. I was in control of my own narrative. When dawn broke, I stood at the edge of a new beginning. My heart mended, rich with the warmth of resilience. In this life, betrayal is a savage thief, but the sweet ethical balance of the universe can be swift, and oh, it can be divine. I turned the page on my past, ready to write a new chapter. With each brushstroke of my paintbrush, and every heartfelt laugh shared with friends, I reclaimed my joy. Trust may take time to foster again, but for now, I finally felt free.